Okay, so this dream was like really serious what happens in the natural world because I've actually experienced this before. So in the dream, I was seeing this guy. I was trying to live right for God, and I was trying to turn him in a way to live for God because I wanted to be with him so bad, and I was calling myself being so in love with him. So I understand why God gave me this dream to share. So in the dream, I was dating this guy. I really wanted him to be a Christian and turn his life over, but he was kind of struggling as far as he still basically wanted to have sex and everything that I wanted to get married, but so me and him, I don't know, we was at like a getaway. It seemed like we was at some kind of getaway where you get counseling or something. I don't know if it was a Christian getaway, but before the counseling session started, I was like, "Ooh, let's go," because I'm knowing that they're gonna talk about getting married and how you're supposed to live right for God. But he distracted me. He was like, "No, wait, before we go, let's go in the room and have sex." So I was like, "No, let's go to the meeting or whatever." He was like, "No, let's go in the room and have sex first." So me claiming I love him so much, you know how when you get caught up in having sex with somebody, it's hard to resist. Once you open that door, it's really hard to close it. So we end up having sex, and I felt bad after we had sex, like I usually do every time we was doing it in a dream. So then I'm like, okay, now I didn't even want to go to the meeting at this point because I felt dirty and I felt disgusting. You know how you feel when you mess up and you want to like climb up in a ball and hide from God? I kind of felt like that. And then I started to notice that every time I wanted to do something spiritual with the guy, he would always resort to let's have sex. And I was fighting so hard within myself to not keep doing it, but I kept falling. And I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people struggling with this issue because I struggled with it for a long time. I kept falling into sexual sin. But I didn't want to give him up. I did not want to let this guy go. So in the dream, the last thing that happened was this was another day that happened. It was another meeting and he wanted to have sex, so we had sex again. Difference was this time after we had sex, I still was like, you know what? I still want to go to the meeting because I really wanted him to be converted and to get right with God. And I told him, I said, let's go to the meeting. He looked back at me, laughed and smiled and said, I'm not going to no meeting. I never was. And I woke up. So it basically told me that he had no intentions on ever getting right with God. And I felt in the dream, I felt like he was sent, I felt like he was sent from the devil to distract me from seeking God. Because every time I wanted to do something for God or something like that, he wanted to have sex. And it's hard to live for God when you know that you're in sin. So then I woke up and I was like, wow, he never had any intentions to live right for God. He was all about, you know what I'm saying? So this can go for men and women. Men, if you're struggling to live right and it's a woman that you want her to be your wife or something and she's like not into it, it's time to let her go. It's nothing is worth going to hell for. And women, nothing is worth going to hell for. Nobody is worth going to hell for. What if God comes back while you're having sex? Like, I always think about it like that. So resist temptation, pray, fast, do whatever you got to do to break the hold they have over you and run straight ahead and don't look back.
Of the 1.2 billion souls who died in the last 3 years of this time, close to 50 people has made it to the kingdom of God, excluding children. And Satan said that was a bad deal. Did y'all see that? Out of 1 point something billion, 50 people went to heaven. Wow. But Satan said that's a bad deal. I believe salvation is more deeper than we think.